Hello everyone, this is episode 12 of Scala Project From Scratch. This is going to be the final episode of the series, so if you've been watching all along from day one, thank you very much. But if you haven't, feel free to check out the earlier episodes. This one should be kind of self-contained, so I hope you can enjoy this one without actually watching all of the previous ones. So yeah, that's it. Let's get to the video. So for this episode, I know that I have planned to definitely do the custom build file format. So we'll start with that, and that will be our main focus. If we manage to do anything else, we can try to, but I think that's like the main priority, and this just has to be done by the end. Then if we have enough time, we can do some work on pretty output, something I showed a couple episodes ago, probably around here. Yeah, we can try to do that, but we'll see again with the time how much we have for that. There's a couple to-dos here that I guess we will not be doing, but maybe some of this could be, maybe we'll happen to work on that as we go. But yeah, that's the plan. However, before that, we usually do Scala Steward pull requests. We look at the pull requests that I need to review. However, the Scala Steward instance, the public one, has been down for a couple of weeks now, probably around 2 weeks. And it's being taken over, so it will be back up to speed in a couple days, I think. But for now, it isn't. However, I have another way to bump our dependencies, which I'm going to try now. So there's this application by Kit Langton called Scala Interactive Update. So far, I think it supports SBT and MIL. We're going to use it just for SBT. Basically, it gives you like a list of all the updates that you can perform on your application, and you can sort of interactively go through it and perform the updates. And yeah, let me do just that and then talk it through. So I'm gonna take the cast loss. I'm basically gonna take all the updates unless it's like an unstable version. So this one looks stable, and that actually groups all these packages together in the same like version thingy, all 5 of these. Then we have look for cats. Yeah, these two aren't grouped. I'm not sure why. It's probably because of how. Yeah, these two are like separate entries. However, SPFS has a version val, so that's why it works that way. Then we have this TT Polkat, which is a plugin. It also handles that now. Tap here, Weaver, Weaver again, and Weaver again. And yeah, it gives you a string of what was updated, which you can copy paste maybe to Git. In the meantime, let's run the tests and import the changes. And yeah, if you don't need like regular updates, like what Scala Steward gives you, I think this might be a more convenient way to get updates in your project. Also should take us less time to merge, especially because of like all the conflicts that we were getting in the previous episodes. This should be much faster. We can probably, yeah, so we got one issue, which I think is like because we updated Tapir to like a stable version, to 1-on-1. That's what I meant. So yeah, we can try to actually fix this. I think it might de-import, and we have the error here. So let's see, HPFS server options. So this doesn't exist, but there's customized interceptors. So let's see. First of all, what is this taking these days? We have HTTP server options. I think that's the one. And yeah, it's called customize. Customize interceptors. Yeah, let's try that. If that compiles, I'm just gonna, go ahead with that. Yeah, that doesn't work. Maybe one of them. Okay, we're almost there. So exception handler, that has to be something that returns valued endpoint output. And we do have that, but probably in a different package. So what could it be? Server model. Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess they just moved it to a different package. So we have a sum. Oh, it's supposed to be in an F. Okay, what's F? I think pure. Dot sum, maybe this way. Okay, so we have an F. Oh my goodness, yeah, these errors are not always that readable. We found an F option, valued endpoint output, generic server error, but it wants implicit monad, F option, valued endpoint output of something. So this implicit monad, that's like what is kind of suspicious here. Like, why would it be part of that, that thing? Wait, exception handler takes an exception handler. Yeah, I know, very enlightening info here. Yeah, I think it's this, like it wants this kind of trait instead of just the function, so we'll have to wrap it in this probably. Let's try that. Pure, yeah, that might be it as well. Yeah, let's try. So this, pure, we'll drop this one. Okay, we're getting there. It wants a function. Oh yeah. This context comes here. And that's it. Is it? There's one more about the import. And yeah, so the tests that we have should pass if I did it right. If I didn't, at least the E2E, so-called E2E tests will fail. So let's see, what if I disable this? Now it should fail. And it does. So that's good. Yeah, let's get back to this. Okay. So do I still have that in my clipboard? I don't. Yeah, I'm just gonna call this commit dependency updates. And push. I'm that dangerous. All right. So custom build file format. So currently we have builds in JSON, and basically our whole goal here is gonna be to convert this to like a custom build language. So I'm gonna call it like build.steve, and I'm gonna translate this one. So I don't know if our language will allow comments, but for now I'm gonna like make it a comment. And let's say we'll do from empty. Do we need this? I guess not. We can like skip the empty. So we'll just have like upsert hello world, delete hello. That's gonna be our whole syntax. So very simple language. Like optionally you'll have also like from hash, but here we don't have a hash, so I guess we can just leave it empty. And I wanted to test drive this sort of. So in the shared code, we'll put some tests for parsing this, and we'll try to implement the parser this way. So let's see, this will be, where do we currently load the build reader? So build reader is actually more high level because it deals with paths, and I want just like a parser. So I'm gonna say like build parser tests. And it's going to be a Weaver fun suite. Okay. And yeah. Let's see. Let's just write like a simple test for the most basic build, which I guess could be our example here. By the way, I got GitHub Copilot after a long break. For some reason it didn't work for a long time, but now it does, because it's like the public beta, and for the next month or so I guess we'll all be using it. So the input will be this basically. And yeah, that's going to be fun to deal with. By the way, I hate this syntax. There's a library called, what the hell? Okay, There's a library for Scala. I'm not sure if it works in Scala 3. It was called unindent. Okay, yeah, it's by DevKernel, but that's not the link I was looking for. I was looking for a GitHub one. Yeah, basically, like you could write it this way, which I think is much more convenient. Like it adjusts the indentation based on where the interpolator starts and not with this kind of characters. It's just feels more natural than that. And let's see if it works in Scala 3. Yeah, easiest way would be to check. Yeah, it appears in the dependency, so I guess we could use it, but probably we don't need it. Like we can just deal with the standard stuff. So I'm gonna say like if I parse this, that's gonna be like our result. And then we're going to assert, yeah, almost like this. So result, assert equal result and something that will be a build. So of course we don't have this parse method. And I think this might be like an either parser. Does that exist? No, not this one. Let's just say throwable, or for now it can be nothing and build. Just gonna step it out and get it to compile. What else? Equality, right? Because this is an either, so right. And this is gonna be a build. Yeah, so it doesn't have an eq because of the left. Let's go to the string. Right. Do I have an eq of build somewhere? I guess it should be defined on build. And we don't have one. Okay, so I'm gonna define it. It's gonna be a given eq build. Just gonna use from universal equals. Okay, is there actually an eq of nothing? No. Makes sense, because how would you test it? All right. Yeah, that would be fine. So we can start running this test. And it's going to be build parser tests. All right, of course it fails. And I probably don't need this new line. Okay. That looks about right. What if I use throwable again? There's no eq for that. What about cuts loss? It was somewhere, like there were some instances, I think. Maybe not for throwable, but I seem to remember it was somewhere there. Maybe in cuts effect. Cuts effect, we probably don't have the loss. No, we don't. Fine, we're gonna use something else. Or I can define like my own matter. Can I fail like this? Okay. So we could define like an extension method for assertions that will say basically assert.parses result and just build. Yeah, we're gonna spend all our time on writing the test and none of the time on actually implementing the code in this episode. I think. Maybe not. Hold on, let me adjust the sound a bit because I think it's too loud. Okay, just a tiny adjustment. Yeah, parses doesn't exist, but at least we know on what it doesn't exist. So because we're in a Scala 3, you can do extension expect def parses. We'll have the input and the output. Kind of like this, except with like more generic code. So let's try with A. And I think the A would go here. That's parses, but I wanted to actually put it here. I wonder if that can actually work. So Highly throwable what? Oh, right, because that's what this returns. So I actually want input here, and this parser is not going to be called from here. And we want expectations. Okay. Right. I think now it's time like we can actually get the parsing library. And for that, I want to use cat parse. That's the one I'm most familiar with, and one that I know works on Scala 3. So let's get that, and we need it in the shared module. So here we go. And yeah, we're gonna put it like somewhere in the shared main, maybe build parser. And I'm gonna call it just parser. It's gonna be a parser of build, or maybe parse. Yeah, I'm gonna do this, but it's actually gonna use like a private file build, so that we can like refer to things as, you know, like build will be a parser of builds, things like that. But I guess there will be no recursion, so I don't need this really. Let's just keep it like that. Cool. So this has worked, I think. So we don't need this. And internally, what I'll do is call build parser. Just checking the time. Parse. And we're gonna use input. Yeah, kind of like this. So if it's the left, by the way, there's parse and parse all. I always forget the difference. So parse all assumes this is the whole file, so I think that's what we want. We're gonna do parse all, and if we got a parser error, then I guess we can fail like this. So parsing failed. Expect maybe just fail. That's gonna be our hint. And then we have expect equal result expected. And of course we got, yeah, that's A. I think we want just build after all, because that's what our parser returns. And is that it? Failure. Okay. So now we need this build that we expect. So I think that's gonna be like build base empty image. And those of commands, yeah, that's exactly what I would have written. Except it doesn't work, but yeah, I wanted build, command, absurd, and the rest is probably gonna be fine. And that's still not implemented because of the parser here. So yeah, let's define this. First of all, I'm gonna import everything from parser, or let's rename this to P. Oh, we can do that. As, yeah. So what's a build? Now I'm hoping that Copilot will not help us too much here, but a build is a sequence of lines, basically. So we'll definitely have, yeah, that's way too much help here. We will have a base and commands, right? Base will be a parser or a P of build base. Commands will be a P of build command, or a list of them. And once we have these, we can do map n, assuming we have the class syntax, and we can map that to a build. So that's just a map n that we know from all the monads, all the applicatives. And yeah, that's what I wanted to use here. I guess the test-driven way would be to actually make this pass right now, like with a simple implementation. So we can say like p success, pure. Yeah, we can do like a successful parser and just return this empty build, or yeah, exactly what was expected here. Let's do it this way. Parser 0, and I want, oh right, yeah. So parser 0 is a parser that doesn't necessarily consume any characters. In our case, I don't think it matters. Like, we can actually expose the parser 0. That's gonna be fine as well. And the test will pass, or not. Wow, it still parses, like fails. I guess because we use parse all. What about parse? Okay, and if I ignore the first part? Yeah, that's fine. So let's use parse all, but then we need to actually like consume all the input here. So I don't exactly know what this is gonna be. Yeah, I guess we could take like anything, or this exact string. Yeah, I'm just gonna go for all the methods. Any car, I guess, yeah, we can do this. And as, yeah, this will be used still. Well, we shouldn't be like leaving the intended implementation. Yeah, I've been reading about test-driven development a lot recently. I can definitely recommend the book, Growing Object-Oriented Software Guided by Tests, if you haven't read it. And if you don't have a lot of experience with tests, or if you do, it's a great book to like summarize what we know about testing and like different approaches to testing, especially with like mocks and test-driven development this way. I'm not saying like you should always do it this way, but it's worth knowing how to, and like what the benefits are, what the workflow looks like. The book is actually written in a very interesting way. So definitely, even though I'm not like a fan of mocks and like extreme TDD, I think there's a lot to be learned from books like that. So definitely worth a read. So this parses, like that's fine. We could actually wire it up to our project, but yeah. So let's do another test that is going to break this. So let's do an empty build. And I'm just gonna do an empty string, because that would be it. And I'm gonna use build empty. And it failed, because why the hell, what? What is that? I guess that's like the last possible character. And the reason it failed is most likely because we expect any amount. And rep is like a non-empty list, so maybe rep 0. Okay, now it just returned a value that we don't know. So what's the quickest way to get to this point? Yeah, I guess like we can hard code empty base as a result of the parsing, because we will not be changing that in this test, right? So we have a red test, now we need to make it pass, then we can possibly refactor. So we definitely need to deal with the commands here, and that's gonna be like a mutable part of this whole thing. And yeah, we could have also started with like a more simple build here with just like one command, but let's do it for 2. So I'll definitely need a parser of a command, or commands even. So this is gonna be a p of command, of a list of commands. And let me think, like it's gonna be a list, possibly empty, so it could be an empty parser. So it will be a parser 0. Let's call it this way. And yeah, for now I don't think like we have any other separator other than a new line. So Here I'm gonna say it's gonna be command, which is gonna be another parser. P0, sorry, that's gonna be a P of command. And rep step 0. And we're gonna have a character, yeah, like that. But that's actually gonna be a new line character. It does still fail. Actually, it broke with some class path issue. Could not initialize class. That's interesting. Probably because of this. Fail. Interesting. That's a cast effect stack trace. At least like the thread is from cast effect apparently. Yeah, no implementation. Is there another one? Not here. No, that seems to be from like a previous run. Default program, empty build, default build, I guess. I'm gonna restart Bloop, never hurts, or I'm gonna clear the Bloop outputs. Yeah, that was easier. Values not equal, that makes sense. Yeah, let's get back here. So we definitely need to parse like a command, and we have the commands, but we still haven't used this in the actual build definition. So I think we should replace this part with like commands, map, and then we'll have the list of commands. We'll just pass it here. And it wants a build command. Yeah, that's actually what I wanted. So build.command. And yeah, that fails. So let's say the command will be either an upsert command or delete command. So upsert is gonna be p of command upsert. Upsert has two values, but yeah, like two fields. But we don't need to know that yet. Delete. And now we just do upsert or delete. I think that's the syntax, possibly. Yeah. So let's implement these. So yeah, we're gonna have the string upsert in uppercase, and then we take like a piece space. Right, I guess we'll need to define white space. So for now, I'll just do like a plain old space, but in the future we need to customize this a little bit. Then we'll take the value. So we basically need to talk about like what values are expected here, like how to define this token and this token. And anything non-white space might be a reasonable idea at this point. For keys, maybe we should expect like alphanumeric characters. It should start with an alphanumeric character. Okay, I'm gonna say key, and key will be a parser of string, just delaying problems for later, right? And it's gonna be a P0. So key, then we'll have another space and a value, and the value can be pretty much anything. So I'll just say like anything that's not white space, or yeah, let's just call it value again. And that cannot be empty. Or can it? I guess it can. Okay, now we have a problem because I've been doing this like in a very fast way. So basically we say that we want to consume all these things, like the string upsert, the character empty space, like what the space. We have a key, space, and value, but we just ignore all these values. So we just say, I expect this to be there, but I don't care about the value. And at the end, we just have this value, which is a parser of string. And that's like the result of the whole thing here. That's what upsert is right now. But I need to actually keep the key and the value. So what I need to do is something a little more than that. Probably the best way is gonna be something like this. Build command upsert apply. So what we're saying is like I put these things in a tuple again. So I have a tuple of parsers. And yeah, here because I ignore these two values, the outputs of these two parsers, I can just chain them with this operator, the right shark. But because I need the key, like that needs to be like the last thing here. We could also put every one of these in a tuple, like in a tuple field, but then the map end becomes more complicated because we have a bunch of useless stuff in here. So yeah, choose your own adventure. So assert key value, that would be it. And then delete, which is going to be quite similar. We'll just have this basically, and instead of upsert, we'll have delete. And that's it. And that's going to be still key, except we map it to build command delete. Now the difference between mapping here and mapping in the whole thing, there's no difference. Like that's just functor laws, functor and applicative laws. So I'm doing it on the last thing, because why not? We could do it even this way. Same thing. So after the delete, let's see, we still don't have these, so let's just say just alphanumeric for now. So this was, I think, in like RC something. Yeah. Alpha rep. That's probably not what I think it does. Okay. Yeah, I want to do something else. So, rep, rep 0 and dot string. So this is gonna extract the string out of that. And value, that's gonna be anything that's not a new line. So maybe until, is that it? Press one or more, as long as it, okay. Yeah, just until the new line character. Might work, and it doesn't. Again, we got this kind of weird class issue. So I'm gonna recompile. Oh, look, it worked. Very interesting. Okay. So what else? Default build, empty build. Let's do like a build with one command. Just an upsert. And that's gonna be just this. We have empty build and yeah, we should think about the base, but I also want to tackle like all the white space issues. So maybe default build with white space. So I'm gonna add a bunch of white space everywhere, like upsert, hello world. Yeah. Then like delete. Yeah, we can also have white space here. I don't want to deal with like how to do spaces inside these strings. How to like graciously fail. That's beyond the scope of this, but yeah, let's just add a bunch of white space. Just to make sure it all is handled. I'm even gonna interpolate like a space here. That's how we can do it, by the way. Like you can actually like enforce that there is white space somewhere. Or maybe this even. Like there's a space here, training space. Yeah, that works for me. Because if I delete this, my editor is gonna trim this white space. So this at least ensures that there's one before that. And here as well. We want the same output, right? Okay. So I'm gonna say like white space. That's gonna be a P0 string of unit actually. And for this, I think like I want like p car in And that could be a space, a tab, a new line character, and also I guess the backspace. And just void. And yeah, what if, do we actually want to approve of this absurd? I guess no, like you shouldn't be able to break a line between these, like after a keyword and then until we finish the command. So I'll just do that with white space. Yeah. So let's call it like inline white space. By the way, these can be shared between the whole thing. Unit. So I'll just copy this and allow everything except the new line. Not sure about this one, I'm just gonna delete it because I don't expect this character to show up in a file. Okay. So value is anything until the new line. But I think it should actually be white space, like anything until white space. This still fails. Then we'll have absurd. Then I guess any amount of white space as well, like at least one white space, white character. By the way, this should be, yeah, that. Also, it's like one character, right? That's kind of... Yeah, this isn't exactly the simplest parsing problem. Like you can go much simpler than that. So I'm probably gonna be boring everyone to details here. To death with the details. Okay. So I'm gonna, okay. Name white space. Okay, first things first. What can go after an absurd? That has to be any amount of spaces, right? So I guess inline white space, repeated, but at least one. So like this, like rep. Then we have a key, then another amount of, like any amount of white space, value, and the same after the delete. So I guess only the key and the value are problematic now. It would be very helpful if we could see like what actually failed to parse, like where we failed. So parser error might have like a position, I think it does. It has the offset. So we could technically like extract it out of the string. Let's do it. So this would be input drop error failed at offset. Just gonna interpolate it like this. Failed at, yeah, that's what we got. We can also do like a replace on this, which would be like, let's say we want to replace the spaces with this dot character, right? Not sure which one should be used for this, but for example, you can do it in editors, like white space will show up in some way. Yeah, like this. I think that makes sense. And the new line characters will be there might be another one. What's that? Non-breaking hyphen. No, that's not what I wanted. Is that it? No. So there was like a funny character for that, but I'm actually gonna use the, sorry, I wanted this. And no, that's not what I wanted. Why is there no backslash in this? Do I need like two of them? Wow. Okay, so I need one, like, I thought this would escape this character, apparently not. And let's have an actual new line then. Yeah, that works. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna be even more fancy, so let's make this a multi-line string and extract this. Okay, and we'll also have before offset. We'll do the same kind of thing, except take we can change this to, like, I'm going to extract this kind of code, and we can do before offset, after offset. I'm gonna do span and map both sides with strip white space. Is it not span? Split at, I guess. Wait, does it fail at the beginning of the file? No, I just didn't show this, yeah. So let's do before offset and put like an emoji here. Because why not? Yeah, it is the beginning of the file. Okay. Why is this not being highlighted? What? That's strange. That seems like a bug in metals. Anyway, I'm gonna do this like that. Yeah. Okay. So again, it fails at the beginning of the string. Because, yeah, we expect an upsert like that. So I guess we need to allow whitespace surrounding these things. So not only you can have whitespace after this string, we should also allow it before it. So what we can do is replace this with like, yeah, I'm actually gonna put it here. So rep 0. Yeah. So this with 1, that's like a magic thing. It allows you to combine a parser 0 with a parser 1 and to get a parser 1 in the result. So it kind of works here. Now this still fails at the very beginning. Right, because I didn't change anything. So I'm still gonna keep it. Maybe I don't even need that. Okay, or I do. The problem is we need to allow new lines around the commands. So surrounded by, and this can be any kind of white space. So white space, repeat, 0, just like that. Okay, now it fails at a different point. So it parsed the hello world, and now we're here. What's this? That seems to be an issue in our printing of the test. Oh, that's funny. So, so this is wrong. This is actually like inserting the unit value. It's like this, you know. So we actually need like a space here, or just an empty string. That's funny. Okay, we're almost there. So we need to support, but it doesn't like the D, and it wanted an end of string. Interesting, interesting. What if I do not have any white space here? It's still mad. Delete is the right word, right? Yeah. So I suppose like once it sees a new line or a space here, it wants to like, okay. Let's go to the parser again. So rep 0 with 1 inline white space. Actually, at this point, we could support any kind of white space. Like here, this doesn't have to be inline white space. And because of this, we don't need to like this rep sep thing. Or do we? We need to enforce there's at least one new line character. Because if I don't have this, there could be other issues. Like rep 0. That doesn't even work. Yeah, white space is actually kind of tough. You know what? I'm not gonna do this. Like, let's get rid of this and ignore white space completely. We don't need to be that complete. So I'll just revert this. This will be just a space character. We don't need this. This can be a space. Until white space is gonna be that. Inline white space doesn't exist. And this may be surrounded by, we don't need that either. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's just deal with the build base. That's gonna be more interesting. So let's add that to the tests. Let's just do an empty build with a base. So, something like that. Let's call it a hash. And this is gonna be an image reference. And I guess, yeah, we need the hash. So, how did we do that in the build, the JSON? We didn't, that's fine. That's gonna be a hash, and we need to parse something. So let's go back to our tests. In here, yeah. Let's use this one. Yeah, we'll actually need like valid hashes to parse. Valid in the sense that they can be parsed after all. So we need, yeah, okay. We could actually build like a compile time interpolator, like you know, something like this. For hashes, that would make it quite convenient. But I'm gonna say, I'm gonna add like an unsafe parse. And that's gonna be a hash, but we're gonna just do parse, something like that. So this will be like an invalid argument exception. Oops, I don't know how that worked. Funny. So throw. Okay, what's your problem? Right. So this said invalid hash. I guess I can just wrap that then. I don't need to interpolate. And yeah, that's it. We could even say like throw here and do merge. But this will not work, yeah. Fine, I'll do it the old way. So unsafe parse. And this fails, of course, because the from keyword is not recognized. So parser. And we'll need like a base parser. That is also, let's see, this could be an actual like parser build base. and we'll make it optional. So let's call it like p fail. And we're gonna say like optional. No, not really. Build base can be a p0 because this can be a build base empty. Like that's a valid build base, so this would be the outcome of that. So let's do that. And this is essentially what I did in the beginning. So just doing this map n. And that won't work on this one case, which makes sense. All right, so this will have two cases maybe, or yeah, we cannot have like a generic fallback. What I mean by that, we cannot say like it's either from something or just empty image. It has to be like an empty string. That will be empty image, right? Yeah, that's not what I wanted. Let's see. So maybe let's start with the hash. So the hash would be kind of easy. That's going to be a string or hash. And these are well defined. Like that's a base 64 string? Probably not. Base 16 more like. Let's try base 16. So that would be a car in. That's pretty much it. Like these characters. But what I wanted to do is like 0 to 9 plus a to f. Some more parents. Yep. And that's a parser of a car. We need to rep that. Or yeah, car. That should work. So rep. Actually, we need an exact number of these, I think. That's 64 of them. And then we can, let's see. These are digits, right? What does a hash contain? A vector of bytes. Maybe I don't need to like even trigger this. So I'm gonna say like hash apply. Yeah, to vector, but first like we need to convert these cars to bytes. So I'm not sure if this can be done just like that, but I'm thinking to just like do 2 byte. Maybe it's gonna be fine. So let's do this. Like let's just say this has to be string from then a space and this. That's my question. Does that work? It's a different hash. Okay. Okay, that's reasonable, but I want to understand. So E. That's a car. That's what we got in the first place. If I could make it a byte, it's 101. Can I do like a console? Okay, not like that. Oh, I guess I can do a worksheet. I think we did that some time ago. That's the wrong hash. I want this one. So H value had, that's minus 29. Right, we need to wait. Oh yeah, it's the groups of 2. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna call this method and just call it a day, because I don't want to deal with this grouping. Parser. So 64 of them, and we'll map to hash parse. Can I do this like an emap? No? Right, string, hash parse. Let's see if there's like a method for like catching. Map filter. That's nice. Fail? No. So I could flat map, but flat mapping on parser is generally not a good idea. Because you introduce like non-determinism and it's just not going to perform as well because it cannot be analyzed externally. No case. On, off. Fail with. Does the method show up anywhere else? Not really. Oh, I could do like or else parser or p fail with invalid hash, something like that. Parser string. Right, we cannot do this because we need to extract the either. So I'm just gonna do unsafe parse here. Maybe that's gonna be fine. Hash, yeah, does this run the test? All the tests failed. That's great. This one actually passed, so this one was fine. Okay. So yeah. What if I make this optional? Or else build base empty image. That's not what you're supposed to do. Yeah. Now I need to make sure that build parser tests that it fails when you pass something invalid. So broken base. So let's say using, that could be something that you might want to try. And I want to ensure like this fails. Broken parse, something like that. So broken parse, input. And let's just say build parser. That has to be like a left. So expect result is left. Oh, by the way, I think this might, okay, it does not require like a location. This might. This requires a source location, so I'm gonna bind it. Guess we could make it a pointer here. Okay. Oh, that's strange. Wait, what? So this was a left. Okay, I don't like that. Maybe it is supposed to work like this. That would, I guess, it makes sense. This was the output here. End of string. Okay. Let's try. Base made of non-base 64. So something like this. By the way, that should fail. Yeah. And I'm gonna use like the character H. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna have 64 ages, no, just one, and 63 ace. Because if I had 64 of these, that would parse. It doesn't. What did I do wrong again? Oh, that's a character. And it tried to multiply that. Wait, why did this, what? Is it like a coincidence that this is the number? Now I'm spooked. What happened here? I want this as a test case, right? So this is probably what happened. Yeah, this should be broken. And it is, okay, that's fine, yeah. I forgot that we are testing for failures. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's leave it in. Case 2. I literally cannot type anymore. So, again, I want it from h plus a times 63. Okay, but if we get like 64 a's, that should be fine. Okay, parses. Base made of 64 a's. So that'll be fine. This will be a build base. Sorry, a build base. A build with a build base from image reference. Hash, yeah, sort of like that. And an empty list of commands. Okay, almost there. What's the problem, officer? What the hell is this? That's 60. Why did it use 60? Okay. So, yeah, that makes sense. I'm gonna extract this and reuse it here, so there's no need to flex that I know how to multiply strings. Okay, cool. But again, like, is this very different from that? I guess not. Let's just get rid of it. So I also need a test for like empty build, well, non-empty build, but build with a base and commands. So from this multi-line string, let's do absurd foo bar, absurd foo2 baz, something like that. Let's use this base and a list like that. And let's put that in one line and see if it parses. It does not. Apparently I forgot the Newman character. So after the base we need, like, there's an optional list of commands, I guess. But if there are commands, they should be like separated from the base with a new line. So something like base, then an optional new line and commands. Effectively something like that. So I'm gonna do it like this. It's gonna be base and then beat car, sort of like this. But what if there is no base? Like if the base is empty, then there is no new line. So the optional white space would be after the base, right? I mean, like this. Let's format this a little. we have the hash, and then like we can say like p car new line. Almost. What's the problem? Oh, we didn't allow numbers. So alpha is just alpha. Do we have number here? Let's take digits. Numbers. Digits. Digits 0. How about this? Okay, almost there. Okay, I know what's wrong. So it needs to be 1 digit. Yeah, like this. Okay, that's an interesting one. Empty build with a base. Is it because the new line is optional? It is. Okay, so I'm curious. What if I have no new line character, but I like start upsert directly after that? So we need to try it out. And just like upsert foo bar. Does that work? Tell me it doesn't. God damn it. Yeah, this cannot happen. So maybe either a new line or an end of file. Okay, that's better. Okay, cool. That's what I like. So I guess we could also check like which index it fails at in the broken base, broken parse. So result is left, but also so result left cert e failed at offset should be equal to the offset. But if it's a right, did I lose a light? Okay, yeah, we lost the light again. I'm gonna actually do like a failure parsing. Yeah, just like that. See, so yeah, we need an index here. So I think the index is gonna be after that. And one trick I'm gonna use is say like length of this. No, that's not when it should fail. It should fail here. Like straight after this prefix. We could say like, we could pass a string here instead, like before which string it should fail. But this is more accurate and I don't want to really work on parsing all night. So this should break at the index 0. And this should break at from, yeah, exactly. Oh, this is so smart. Incredible. Okay, base made of none, base 64. This one. 6208. Oh, it's just too short. So yeah, I just called this algorithm smart and it's not. It didn't get it right. So what did I get wrong here? It all works, right? We're trying to ensure that this thing was broken. So it is. Okay. I could swear it worked. Oh, we did it right. Yeah, okay. So, p end. Yeah, so we could do this more accurately. So there's basically... Oh, by the way, yeah, an empty string is also a valid build. Do we have that? We do. Yeah, so essentially both the base and the commands are optional. But if they are both present, there needs to be something between them, a new line, at least one of them. So yeah, if we were doing this for real, like for a real thing, I would need to support that case in a special way. Probably like trying to parse one thing, the other thing, and then if they're both there, I don't know, like having 4 cases, like there's nothing, there's the base, there's just the commands, and then there's the base and the commands. It's like all the combinations. We probably need to support that here. Oh my god, I just lost another light. That's so embarrassing. Yeah, I'm not good at charging my stuff. By the way, this said it would run for 2 hours. It did not. At least we have the main one. This one is not gonna run out. This one is wired. Yeah, let's see what else. Yeah, the parsing works. We just need to wire it up to the rest of the application. So the build, actually, I'm just gonna commit. Also, do I want to do any factors? I don't think so. This looks like a normal parsing build, which is not great, but that's life. Yeah, just gonna commit this. And yeah, we need to connect this to the build reader. And currently we're doing it with Cersei, with the Cersei parser, which I'm not sure we need. We probably need it for like errors. Yeah, we need it for the client-side executor. Okay. Although I think like we could have done this with like some Tapir stuff, but we didn't. So let's leave it in. So yeah, we have a string. Now we need to parse this somehow. So maybe build parser, parse all, lift to F. And normally you should catch errors, like parser error should be caught and sort of transformed into something more domain specific, but we don't have the time for that. Concurrent is concurrent of throwable, so I should have the ability to lift. Is this not a throwable? It's not. Okay. In that case, yeah, I'm just gonna wrap it here to something else. And normally I wouldn't recommend wrapping errors. I'm only doing this to like keep the details. But yeah, you can do it. And yeah, I'm gonna wrap it in parsing feather. And that does it. So let's see if I have any tests that rely on that. Probably not. Yeah, we don't. I should be able to delete this and to run the client. But first, let's run the server. And the client here. Okay, it failed. There's no Steve.json, which is true. So how is this used? Yeah, build.steve. It doesn't parse. And I think I know why. There's a trailing new line. Yeah, so I'm gonna just add this one thing to the parser, to the tests, so that we can have trailing new lines. Well, trailing new lines. That's what I wanted. No other characters should be here, just a new line. Nope. Okay, that failed, of course. So build parser. I think I just want like training white space around the whole thing. So I'm gonna say surrounded by p car rep 0. That didn't work. Wow. So we wanted a delete here, I guess because of this rep sub 0. Okay, what if we have a command that's surrounded by white space and we do just rep 0 and we don't have this? That works. Yeah, that's fine. So with parsing, it's really tough sometimes with white space. It's really a pain in the you know what that's the reality. So let's run the server again and the client. Okay, that works. So yeah, our parser works. It's connected to the thing and it works. So that's really good. And yeah, I think I want to do something else here. I still wanna achieve that. So I think that was in the front end. And yeah, now we remember we had similar tests for like the parsing of the commands, but we didn't have like custom matchers here. We just had equal and right. We could do the same thing as what we did in build parser tests, like define a new, this kind of matcher, but we didn't. So I want to support, in the front end, I want to support running the server like this one time. But it's not going to be part of the command, it's going to be like an extra thing, I think. So what would it look like? Probably build parent client build. I wonder if I can do it like this. Yeah, that's the parameter to the build command, but I think I want it here. Does that work? It should, yeah, okay. So parse input, there's a command. Yeah, so there's these, and then I think I want, oh, okay. So the CLI command, yeah, let's do this. So CLI run, we'll have a command and options. And options is gonna be this new thing. Server boolean. And that is an options CLI command. I'm gonna have to rename this. And I think it shows up in the test as well, so I'll just rename it with text. Because methods cannot handle renames across modules. So I'm gonna call it parse CLI command. Yeah, and we also have parse CLI run. Yeah, kind of like that. Okay, yeah. All the thing was written for us. I don't like that. But yeah, basically that's what I wanted. Not really. That's not what I wanted. This is wrong. Anyway, so we parse the command. And then I want to parse ops flag server, yeah, run in server mode with file server. Let's go standalone. Here. Okay. And that's going to be or false. And we map it to CLI options. And that's actually it, I think, like map n CLI run. Okay, and instead of this, instead of parse CLI command in main, we will be using parse CLI run. What did I do? Instead of parse CLI command, we'll do parse CLI run. So case command options, we'll convert the command. required. Why is this an any? Oh, of course, yeah. Run command. And here, on server, that'll be, so if run options standalone, we'll do main serve surround k. Otherwise, we'll do function k identity. And that should be a function k of IO and IO. Yeah. And now I can just wrap this with run server. Yeah, indentation is wrong. And here. So if it's standalone, we will run the server around the client. Otherwise, we will not. Let's see if that works. Of course, the name is wrong. It should be standalone. That works. Yeah, we could also improve it and just not have the server at all. Like, not use HTTP in this case, but that's an exercise for the reader. I think it works nicely. So let's try to make sure that we test the whole parser. So the whole parse CLI run. So this in the front end tests should be parse CLI run. And this will be CLI run remote. Let's call it this way. Like that's going to be an alias for running without a server, like with a server but without the standalone mode. So let's go to CLI run and define that. Command, and I guess CLI options standalone false. Now we don't have an eq for CLI run, which we can resolve very quickly with an eq. And let's test. At this point I can probably hide this parser, like make the command parser private. Okay, let's check out the GitHub. So I didn't check the CI after all these things, but apparently all of that is fine. Okay. So let's look at the README, and yeah. So we didn't do this one, and we're kind of out of time. We did a custom build for format, parser plus test for it. We added standalone mode. That's pretty much all we needed. And I guess that's episode 12. All right, I'm gonna commit this. Yeah, the downside of standalone mode is that it's stateless, like the whole thing is still stateless. We could add some real persistence, but that's something that we just don't have the time for, so persistence. Yeah, that's like the main missing feature, I guess. But yeah, as I said, this is the last episode. I will not be continuing the series anymore. If you want to like pursue this project further, you want to use it as something that allows you to play around with some ideas, and you have these ideas, you can try your own. You're very welcome to just go ahead and start from this point and try to implement some of the missing stuff, like maybe replace the what do we have for that? In the server, I guess we have a registry. Yeah, so the registry is defined in terms of an in-memory thing. You could very well implement this with some storage, like an SQL database, or some file-based stuff, maybe SQLite. There's really so many options, but we just don't have the time. So feel free to expand this project with some new functionality. If you want, I will probably even take pull requests for that, because why not? So if you have some sort of storage backend for the Steve builds or the system states, feel free to submit a pull request, and I'll take a look. For now, this is it. This is episode 12. It's been quite a long adventure. I think we've been doing this since like September, so quite a while. And we had some good episodes, some decent ones, some mediocre or really bad ones as well. But I think it was an interesting series in general. And yeah, at some point we might do another one. Maybe we'll do a reboot or some new features in the future in a couple months. But for now, let's consider this chapter closed. So this was Steve. This was the 12 episodes. By the way, if you have an implementation, you can submit a PR with a link here. Yeah, there's nothing more to say. Again, thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next episodes. Like when I'm recording, you will actually see me, and I hope to see you in the comments, in the likes, in the subscribes. And let me know what you thought about the series, what you liked most, what you hated the most, and I try to incorporate your feedback into future episodes. And for now, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.